Do you have trouble teaching geographic coordinates? In this video, I'll show you a teaching method using the game Battleship. And best of all, I'll show you how to apply it, what the rules are, how it works, and I'll leave the board available for free download. Did you like the idea? Let's get into the video. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Paolo, a geography teacher. As always, it's an honor to have you here with me on GeoIllustrata. So, as I already said in the intro, in this video I'm going to show you a really good teaching method that's excellent for teaching geographic coordinates to your students in a playful, interactive, and fun way, right? I've used this a lot in my daily routine at school, and it always works. The students love it, okay? So don't worry, I'm going to show you the step-by-step here. How you can apply this in your class, all right? So let's go. The first step you need to take, obviously, and here I'm going to show you on my computer to make it easier, okay? The first step is to explain what geographic coordinates are, okay? And if you have any questions about how it works, there's also a video here on the channel explaining it, okay? A proper step-by-step breakdown of the main topics in this subject. But for the game to work, your students will need to know three main things, which are, first, the meridians. What are meridians then? You will have to explain this to your students, okay? What are meridians? They are these vertical lines, right? You already know this. They are the vertical lines, and the meridian here in the middle is the well-known Greenwich meridian. Greenwich, the handwriting is a bit messy, but this is just to review things you already know, okay? And we also have the parallels. What are the parallels? They are the horizontal lines, right? Horizontal. Horizontal. Ugly handwriting, right? But that's okay. It's just for explanation purposes anyway. The one in the middle, wow, it got crooked. I'll try to make a straighter one to improve it. My God, it's been a while since I used the drawing tablet. There we go, now it worked. It got a little better. This here is the equator, right? So these are the kinds of things you'll have to explain to your students so they can really understand how geographic coordinates work. And another thing you have to make very clear to them is this. The coordinates will work based on the intersection between a meridian and a parallel. So if we have the intersection, we'll have a point on the Earth's surface. That's basically, in a nutshell, how geographic coordinates work, right? That's how they function. So, based on the intersection between a meridian and a parallel, right? Another central thing you'll have to explain to your students is this. What is the Earth? It's a sphere, right? Since it's a sphere, what's it going to have? 360 degrees. 360 degrees. Every sphere has 360 degrees. In the case of planet Earth, it's no different. So how does it work? We go from 0, which is the Greenwich meridian, the 0 meridian, up to 180 east, and also 180 west, right? So 180 to the east and 180 to the west, making a total of 360 degrees. And from the equator southward, and to the north, what do we have? From 0 to 90 degrees, okay? 0 to 90, 90 north, and 0 to 90 south. Now let's move on to the next step. Let's talk now about how the game works. Here I'll explain the rules to you, and then in the next step, I'll teach you how to apply this in the classroom. Because there are two different ways we can use this with the students, okay? I'll explain each one to you in a moment. But first, let's go over the rules. Take a look. This is the board, okay? So, there is this board online, but I adapted this one, all right? I adapted it to make it look more like the game and to make it easier to use, okay? And don't worry. So, I'll make this available for you to download for free, okay? So don't worry about it. How does Battleship work? If you played it as a kid, you know. For those who don't, I'll explain quickly. The goal is to sink the ships, right? By indicating a pair of geographic coordinates. It's that simple. And how does it work here? The difference is that the board here is planet Earth. So the first thing is to locate the ships, right, the vessels on the board. And here I placed 2 aircraft carriers with 3 spaces, 2 submarines with 2 spaces, and 3 simpler vessels with just 1 space each. So let's go. Let's use an example. Let's suppose I place the aircraft carrier here, and it's important that you position it at the intersection, okay? Between the meridian and the parallel, okay? Just like in this example here. So to sink this ship, how would it work? The student would have to indicate a pair of coordinates. In this case here, let's suppose the student said 100 west, okay? 100 west and 20 south. The student, is that correct? So that's the first point. So he got the shot right here on the aircraft carrier. No, he hit this shot here on the aircraft carrier. If he hit the shot, he will keep playing. If he hit the water, he will pass the turn to the next one. Okay? So what would be the next step here? Keep calling out coordinates to sink the ship. And then, if he hit the aircraft carrier, you have to say, look, aircraft carrier. If he hit the submarine, or the other one anyway, right? So he knows how many spaces there are. So here, what would be the next shot? 120 west and still 20 south, right? 120 west and 20 south. And the last one? 140 west and 20 south. Here you may have noticed that I set the coordinates in increments of 20 degrees, okay? So it doesn't get too crazy, right? To make it easier to understand. So here it's every 20 degrees, both for north-south and east-west, okay? So that's the basic rule. The game ends when all the ships are sunk, and whoever scores the most points wins. And then you can score points per shot or points per ship sunk. Anyway, that's up to you, okay? Pretty simple, right? Now let's understand the ways we can apply this in the classroom. There are 2, okay? I'll explain what they are. But before that, guys, I'd like to introduce to you our GeoIllustrata Mind Maps kit. I simply took all the videos from the channel and turned them into mind maps. Look, I'll show you 3 examples here. First, about tectonic plates. Second, about the basins and hydrographic regions of Brazil. And the third one, about the biomes of Brazil, right? So as you can see, they're well illustrated. Modesty aside, guys, they're really beautiful, focusing on what really matters within each topic. I dedicated a lot of time, care, and effort to these maps, okay? I did everything by hand myself, as you can see, illustrated by me, and with the same quality as the videos you already watch here every day. And the best part is, I set all this at a really affordable price, so you don't have to compromise your monthly budget, right? I know a teacher's life isn't easy. We don't make much. I'm in that same situation. I know how it is. So I set it at $49.90, okay? We have it there for $99 with maps and monthly updates, okay? Every video that comes out on the channel, I update and make the map available for download, all right? So I'm leaving the link here in the video description. Take a look there, and if it makes sense for you, you can get yours, okay? Besides boosting your studies, you'll also be supporting this channel. All right, so let's get to the final part of the video. So now let's talk about how you can use this game in the classroom. There are 2 ways, okay? The first one is this. You'll have the physical board with you, all right? With the ships cut out, and you'll project the board there in the classroom, whether it's on a projector, on the TV, whatever. And then you'll need to open the board in any program. It can be Paint, okay? Every computer will have Paint. And here's the thing. You're going to put the ships on your board in the program, but don't let the students see it because otherwise they'll cheat, okay? You know how they are. They cheat. So then you'll divide the class into groups, okay? It can be 2, 3, 4, depending on your situation. All right, then the first group goes. They try a shot, okay? Let's say they tried at this coordinate here. If they hit the water, you're going to mark it. It's very important that you mark it. So they don't repeat the coordinates they've already hit. If they miss and hit water, mark it in blue. Then it's the next group's turn. Got it? You say hit the aircraft carrier, submarine, whatever, and mark it, all right? And then the group that hit it keeps going. Missed, it's the next group's turn. Simple as that, okay? That's how I usually do it. And I think it's really cool, really fun too, all right? So now let's go to the second way you can use this in your classroom, okay? And this one is especially for those teachers who can't project this on the wall, okay? I know that's the reality in many schools here in Brazil, unfortunately. So what is this option? You're going to take this board here, which I'm making available for download in the video description as well, okay? So go ahead and download yours, and you'll print it out, okay? And then once you've printed it, you're going to need a few boards, right? At least, I don't know, about 6, 7, or 8. And then you're going to split up the students. It can be in groups or in pairs too, and each one with a board. And then instead of the teacher controlling or mediating the game, it will be the students themselves who will do that, right? They'll distribute each one on their own. They'll say the coordinates and try to sink the other person's ships. And then the first one to sink the other person's ships wins the game, okay? So in this format, the teacher has to stay really attentive to answer questions, right? And to mediate the situation, okay? Even though this way, the students take on a more active role. They're the ones who will handle the board. All right, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave your feedback down below. I'm trying out this new video format, okay? And it's important for me to know if you liked it or not. If I get good feedback from you, I'll record more videos like this, covering other teaching methods so you can diversify your lessons, all right? Thanks for sticking around until the end. Related videos about geographic coordinates are on your screen. See you next time. Bye, bye. See you.